Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Say play ball.
That's what I do. And Robbie just did it too. Approval of minutes, roll call.
Trustee Barbian. Trustee Sells absent. Trustee Unger.
Here.
Trustee Feckmeyer.
Here.
Trustee McFall.
Here.
Trustee Olet.
Here.
President Sabrowski.
Here, thank you. Looking for approval of meeting minutes, regular board meeting, November 4th, 2025.
I'd like to make a motion for the village board to approve the regular board meeting minutes from November 4th, 2025. We've all had them given to us prior and a chance to review any information.
Second motion?
Any discussion? No? All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian.
Aye.
Trustee Unger.
Aye.
Trustee Feckmeyer.
Aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Olet.
Aye.
President Sabrowski.
Aye, thanks. Item 5, new communications, A2520, referral to the Plan Commission on an ordinance updating the design guidelines for Greendale Originals. I will move to refer this item to Plan Commission for review and recommendation. Second?
Well, no,
Okay.
I'll second, but then I have a
Okay.
discussion.
All right,
Right.
sure.
I'll second.
Trustee Barbian?
I've been contacted, and I was just wanted to make a point here that perhaps, since we have time before the next planning commission meets, if maybe the historical commission would like to take a look at this. I know it's not in the wheelhouse necessarily what we say, with the Village Hall, Hose Tower, Trimborn Farms, but I think they might have some input that we can use and still would go to the planning commission. And I think it would be a good gesture to have them take a look at the information before. And I just wanted to ask the opinion of everyone.
I would second that.
As a friendly amendment, do you want to include that in your motion? A referral to Historic Preservation Commission and the Planning. Historic Preservation Commission meets December 22nd. Planning Commission's next meeting will be January 7th. So as Trustee Barbie pointed out, the timing would work out. As Trustee Barbie mentioned, the Historic Preservation Commission's purview as far as what they would need to review potentially would be locally designated properties. Since this relates to originals, it's not necessarily within their purview, but as a gesture to gather their input, it could be informally referred for their feedback.
You have a question?
Right, I just was saying because of the expertise in the field and with the original, I think it could help.
I would note, so the draft that we put together it's not relating to design standards directly, it's relating to updating the terminology because we updated special uses, we changed the conditional uses, so reflecting that within the guidelines document, but then also creating a special exception process so that if there's a deviation from some things in the guidelines, they don't have to go and get a variance from the Board of Appeals, which can be time-consuming, costly, and all that they could get an exception just through the Planning Commission to streamline that process. So those were the main changes. I don't know if the board, we didn't see anything on a staff level that needed to be updated as far as design standards. So those are the main things that are at least in this draft.
Okay. Trustee Amber?
I have just a very minor comment, and I thought I'd share it now instead of when it comes back to the board, maybe early next year. So I took a look at this, and under the changes that were made in the definitions section by our Director of Inspections, he proposed 2 new definitions, conditional use and special exception. I think he will also want to change the definition of building inspector to director of inspection services, which is what he refers to himself as throughout this new ordinance.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other discussion? I'll accept the motion to change that. Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian.
Aye.
Trustee Unger.
Aye.
Trustee Feckmeyer.
Aye.
Trustee McFall.
Aye.
Trustee Olet.
Aye.
President Zabrowski.
Aye, thank you. All right, public hearing and action items, whenever most practical for the board and persons interested in the public hearing items, the board will act on the public hearing immediately following the conduct of the public hearings, rather than later on the agenda. Item A, BOT 25115, the 2026 village budget. Consider action on resolution R 2025-15, approving the 2026 budget, FC 2538. Consider action on resolution R 2025-16, setting the 2025 tax levy, FC 2539. All right, I'll open it up for any comments.
Hello. Jeff Birmingham, 5601 Bramble Court. I just was looking at the guidelines for the Greendale Originals, since I own 6 of them. It did concern me when I saw that, but you, Mike, you explained it very clearly. That's more the wording than anything else, other than not changing what you can do with the originals, what you have before. That's the way I understand it. So I just wanted to bring up that I'd like the public to see it, though, to see what changes are for the original, especially when you live in one. It'd be nice to see it. I'm sure I can get it online, but I really didn't know anything about it until I saw it here, so thank you.
Yep, and just to clarify, so we are in the budget public hearing portion, but to your note, just to clarify, we do have the draft ordinance in tonight's meeting packet, and this is just kind of very introductory referral, no actions taking, so it's initial referral, so it'll be going through the process of Plan Commission and now the HBC and back to Village Board. But to be clear, this is the budget public hearing. Gotcha. Okay.
I'm going to talk about the public hearing. Thank you. Jim Birmingham, 7325 Edge Hill Road. I'm actually representing the Historical Society tonight as the village, as the vice president. The Village of Greendale Historical Society and the Village of Greendale have been in partnership with the success of the Historical Society Center since its opening. Next year, we'll be celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Greendale's Welcome Center. In 2025, the Greendale Historical Society provided Greendale with $6,000 towards the operation budget of the Welcome Center. During the 26th budget coming up, we are providing $9,600 that we have committed to from our budget to help offset the cost of the Welcome Center. We are happy to continue our relationship with the village as this goes. So thank you. Just like that, go on record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your donation too.
Joe Russ, 5599 Basswood Street. As one who's one of the few taxpayers who actually came in for some of the meetings, I have to question a few of your budget ideas. Yes, it's nice you got grants for the bathroom you want by the gazebo, but it still won't cover the whole expense. Plus, down the road, you're going to have the expense of that building as far as maintenance and cleaning and so forth. As an aside, we have a portable bathroom which has been used for years, which will come in handy if you would, say, move the Green Market to Trimborn Farms, or for events in that silly little park that you want to have at the Barrett Low Boston Store redevelopment area. I believe that even though you are going to be pushing ahead and building the new bathrooms, which are in the budget, you should also keep the portable bathrooms, which I believe will be sold through this current budget. Because it's something you may end up needing down the road, and if you sell it now, when you buy a new one, you're only going to pay more for a new one. So, thank you.
Any other comments for public hearing? All right, I see none, so I will close it. All right, citizens' comments. Persons wishing to address the board are asked to state their name and address of legal residency for the record and limit their comments to only one time. Limit their comments to 3 minutes or 5 minutes if representing a group of persons. Citizens' comments shall be limited to a period not to exceed 30 minutes. Public comments should be addressed to the village board as a body. Any questions or comments directed to any individual trustee or staff person will be deemed out of order. Please note that the village board can only discuss matters listed on the agenda. And is open. I see none, so I will close it. Moving on, standing committee reports, trustee Barmier.
Thank you, President Zaborowski. I have a few items here on Finance Committee for tonight. First item is discuss the necessary action on a resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of $3,490,000 general obligation promissory notes, Series 2025A, FC 2537. The Finance Committee is recommending for the village board to approve the resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of $3,490,000 general obligation promissory notes, Series 2025A. I would need a second, please.
Second motion?
Second motion. Any discussion at all on this?
Brian Raymer from Ellers is here to present the information.
Thank you for having me. I believe all the trustees have the sale day report from the events that happened today with the sale. Good news to report there. As you can kind of see from the plan, the original issuance amount was $3.49 million. Due to the sale results, we were actually able to downsize the issue by $45,000. So you're ultimately approving 3.445 million. The reasons for that are shown on table 1. If you were, curious to it, 1, the estimated cost of issuance was slightly lower, meaning that the other third parties involved in the transaction, their fees were less than what we estimate for them, right? We can't really know that until they send their fee documents to us, which typically happen right before the sale. The other reason is you were offered a premium bid, which is quite common. As mentioned during the pre-sale report, it's oftentimes that the underwriters will pay you up front for higher interest rates. That said, speaking to the interest rate, based off of the pre-sale estimate, which was kind of at that time, market conditions with an expected conservative buffer in case the market were to come back up. I believe I presented we were definitely in a downward trend that was going to lead to better sale results than if we had sold this earlier in the year when we were originally talking with staff on kind of funding needs, but you had the cash to kind of hold off, and the market did come down. The last page of the sale day documents kind of show where the market went. So essentially, it continued to go down, and therefore, from our pre-sale estimate, you have less interest expense than what we estimated. Total P&I difference then, which is shown on table 2 of our document, is $285,000 less than what we had in the pre-sale estimate. So, right, that's just a benefit to all of the repaying funds of the issuance, including the levy. So our levy expectations for this issuance are going to be lower than expected. In addition to that, brought to our attention that we didn't have the recycling portion listed as an abatement here. So what you'll see on the tax impact table, which is table 4, understand the levy impact will actually be slightly less. Our intent would be to send a revised schedule to village staff tomorrow with that in there, so you have the corrected amounts. But just note, it's not to the worse, it's to the better, so a lower levy impact overall. The last thing that I'll mention is, issuing this on a competitive sale in the kind of executive summary. You can see that saved you about, 12 basis points or 0.12%. Overall, that's about $45,000 worth of savings. It's always kind of why we recommend doing a competitive sale, so you can tell your constituents that we got the best deal on the day we went to market, instead of, if you were to negotiate, you have with one underwriter only, you have no idea, right, what other underwriters would offer. So outside of that, the rest of the tables are pretty standard, and all of the impacts slightly less, right, with the downsizing as well as the better interest rates than our pre-sale report. So the last thing I'll mention, the total general obligation debt limit in terms of your statutory limit, you're at about 20% with the remaining 87 million of capacity. And then in terms of your policy limit, which is, you hold yourselves to a higher standard than the statutory limit, and this is, again, table 4. Your policy limit, you're at 27% of your policy limit with the remaining just under 60 million of general obligation debt allowance there. So with that, I can certainly take any questions and go from there.
Trustee Unger?
Could you or Manager Hawes or someone explain to me why the resolution mentions financing of the flock license plate reader cameras? What does that have to do with this?
Sure. I mean, if you guys want to talk about what you're...
Well, that's a Corals thing, right? So so we had, within this borrowing is our capital equipment, but one of the items is actually, it's not a purchase, it's a lease. And so as far as so technically the way the resolution had to be set up is it had to account for, I guess it referred to it as a refunding of the lease because it'd be paid for through this borrowing. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So it's not a one-time equipment purchase like the other things. It's to pay for the lease, and so it's just rolled as a refunding rolled into this note.
Okay.
And that was, again, amortized within 1 year, too. If you look on table 2 of the packet that I handed out, we didn't want to amortize that, right, longer than the actual payment, so it's just a one-year payment. A lot of that, too, is like a lease obligation. You can't claim as debt service levy, so you have to have debt service levy, so it's just kind of converting that for kind of allowable levy for those payments, essentially.
Did that answer your question, anything like?
Yes.
Other questions? I would just like to say thank you. This is really good news for the village, and appreciate all the effort that you've put in, and your firm, of course.
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
much. As I see no other questions, I would ask for a roll call on this.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Buckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olive?
Aye.
President Zaborowski?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on Finance Committee is discuss the necessary action, Resolution 2025-15, approving the 2026 budget, FC 2538. The Finance Committee is recommending that the Village Board approves the resolution approving the 2026 budget. We've had multiple meetings on this and studied it, and it's been presented to the public. Second, please.
Second motion.
I can give if Stephanie will give a recap or an update on the next item, I'll just give a quick recap on the budget resolution itself. So obviously, we had our 2 budget workshops. Outlined in the staff report in your packet are the changes that have been made since the budget workshops. And so I will just quickly give an overview that we had a missing revenue item for special pickup that's been added, an amount of $6,000. We moved around a couple things in the legal services. We increased the special village attorney by $5,000 and reduced the labor negotiator portion by $5,000. We talked pretty extensively about code enforcement. We wanted to increase the budget allocation for code enforcement about 4 hours per week, so that adjusted it from about 11,381 to 17,074. We had some updates to the refuse and recycling fund in relation to the recycling truck debt payments, which just ended in a net increase of $5,100 to the fund balance. We had corrections on the debt issuance costs. We did remove the duplicated input of the fiber connection project. So that was in two different spots, and that was removed from the facilities plan. We talked about additional road maintenance, so we increased the mastic budget by $32,000, so that's now included in the budget as well. We reduced the police generator connection by $25,000. Did add $25,000 to the CLC roof and solar panel project, just to account for some contingency and bidding costs. And then we did add the community center Diamond 3 rehabilitation work, $28,000. That's still assuming that there won't be any FEMA funds available. That's the diamond that was washed out. So the budget now will incorporate the final terms of what Brian from Ellers was presenting as far as the debt payments to be made. We were just waiting on those note sales today, so Stephanie has made those updates within the budget itself. And so, do you have those numbers as far as what will be attached in this resolution, as far as the budget, what that change would be?
So after the 2025A issue came out, we will have our debt levy be $1,265,432 to incorporate the principal and interest of 2025A. Looking into the fund balance, and now that the village has issued debt on a regular basis, we have some premiums that will help lower our tax levy. So Mike and I talked this morning. We are adjusting down our levy by $250,000, just to kind of help like the whole tax increase overall. So now, that was the number I guess I was saying, the $1,265,432 instead of $250,000 higher.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so the tax levy, so we levy for the debt, principal and interest payments of all non-TID debt service payments for 2026. So when we're looking at it, we needed to wait, of course, for this 2025A to finalize to get that exact number. And then we have some fund balance in debt service fund, which is due to mostly the premiums that were from like 2024A, 2022 debt issues. So there's a positive fund balance, which you will see in like the budget as it is now. So we are reducing the debt levy by $250,000 and absorbing that fund balance.
So originally, we were showing a levy increase year over year around 11%. That's because last year we really took down the debt levy in order to kind of help the tax bills. With this change, we're able to be more around the 8%, right?
Yeah, 8%, yep.
Okay, so again, using some of the fund balance that's available and premiums available within that debt fund to, not have to go up to 11%, but around 9%. And in the overall tax bill, we're still projecting to be around either the same or a little bit less compared to last year for the average home. We're still waiting on one final figure, which is the state school credit. And I guess we're waiting for the state school credit and for the state to announce the lottery credit and first dollar credits. So depending on how those credits look year over year, the rest of the tax bill should be about the same for the average homeowner.
That's good news.
So we'll probably, do you know when we'll get those credits will be announced?
Yeah, it will be on Thursday. It's always the 20th of November.
Okay, so by the end of this week, we should have information on what the full tax bill looks like with those credits.
Great.
Questions for Stephanie? For Mike?
No, I would just like to thank Mike, Stephanie, everybody involved in this, and the department heads for the great job they did. Anybody that's done a budget, it's not easy in this time, so thanks again for all your hard work. I think it looks great.
Agreed, I think we all are.
Yeah, I think we all agree with it.
I see no other questions, so I would ask for a roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
Affirmative?
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Fechmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye.
Passes. Thank you, Stephanie. Next item, Finance Committee, discuss the necessary action on Resolution R 2025-16, setting the 2025 tax levy, FC 2539. Finance Committee is also asking the village board to approve the resolution setting the 2025 tax levy, as has been outlined.
Second the motion?
So the resolution shown in your packet, originally $11,528,706. The updated figure is 11,354,782.
Excellent. Questions in regards to this topic?
Sorry, just one second. Stephanie, is that the correct figure?
I'm bringing it up right now.
Okay. I was just reading it straight from that levy worksheet, so I don't know if we updated that yet.
So it is 11,326,825.
Okay.
That's different.
326, 8.
25.
825. 11,326,825. Thanks.
Thank you for that update. Any questions at all in regards to, put a lot of effort into this to get to this point, so I would ask for a roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Feckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFell?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zaborowski?
Aye.
Next item is discuss the necessary action regarding the adoption of the village fee schedule resolution, FC 2540. Also, the Finance Committee is recommending the village board to approve the resolution revising the village fee schedule. We had that discussed at the budget session and taken all the questions and discussed at that point.
Second the motion?
Second?
I could do it. Just an update. So there were some changes that were made since our budget meeting, since the budget workshop. We did discuss within the workshops updating the peddler's license amount, so that's been updated to $375 per company, plus $100 per individual seller, that's on a per year basis. We also corrected the dumpster use fee to $350 each, which there was a fee amount that was incorrect, but it was different from the event application, so we got that updated. We did add a $50 beekeeping permit fee, so that was the ordinance that we approved in August, but needed to establish what the fee would be. And then we have our utility fees listed on our fee schedule, specifically the local sewer fees and the stormwater fees. We do not list the water utility fees because those are regulated by the Public Service Commission. And then we're also recommending taking out the MMSD Metro sewer fees because those are set through MMSD. So taking out the Metro fees, we're showing just the local sewer fees and just our stormwater fees, which are set by the village board. And so in accordance with our financial management plan, we are projecting, or we're putting in an increase of 3.5% for the local sewer fee, and then an increase to $3.63 to the quarterly stormwater ERU fee. So again, those were planned out in our financial management plans as updates to our utility fees that are needed to stay in line with our projected costs and capital projects that we have. And then lastly, as we discussed during the budget workshop, there is a business license fee within the fee schedule of $25 per year. We don't have an ordinance adopted at this point, so that fee would be a placeholder until we review an ordinance, potentially adopt an ordinance. You could leave out that fee for now, or you could add it. You could add it later if and when we do adopt that ordinance. But then we would need to come back and approve the fee schedule again.
Question on that. I did have some feedback from some of the business owners on that.
They love it.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah, they loved it. But there's a couple of questions that I got, not just from business, but for people who are working out of their home, that I think we got to get that more discussed as to what that actually is going to be. Some people work there, I don't know, only a month out of the year. Some people do taxes and that. So can we pull that out to discuss later and still approve this or not?
Yeah, so I would say if you're not comfortable having a fee on the schedule that we don't have the ordinance in place yet, we could just take it off the schedule for now and revisit, when we bring an ordinance back, because right now, we don't have an ordinance in place. We need to have some initial discussion about, what types of businesses will be required to get the license. So, you can decide to take it off the schedule right for now.
I'm going to present it to the board. I would like to do that because I don't want to hold up the fee schedule, but I do think that's something that's going to have a lot of discussion involved. and we can still do it at a later time. So if I could make a change on what I did, if I get a second
Yeah,
that
I would
agrees with
second
that.
that.
Trustee Fickmeyer?
I don't think it matters. The fee's going to be $25. The ordinance is going to list who has to pay the fee and who doesn't, so I don't have a problem with this. But I have another comment later about something else on here as well.
Yeah, I would say if you feel on the fence or a lot more needs to be discussed, I mean, I could understand just not wanting to put on the schedule for now. It is in the budget, but the license fee wouldn't start until July 1st anyways, on the license year. So there is a little bit of time for us to sort this out and decide what we want to do. But I would probably try to get that ordinance in front of you in December.
Well, we did vote to do a business fee, correct?
We
did vote on
just had discussion about the fee. So at this point, you could agree to keep it on the schedule. It's going to be $25, assuming the ordinance gets passed. Just knowing that it's going to take discussion later on the ordinance.
It's a horse apiece, I guess it doesn't really matter.
If you want to weigh in, Rob?
I would rather do that, just what Colleen said. I mean, just keep it on there, and then, again, we can discuss this, later on.
Trustee Olet?
I would like it removed. I want more clarity on that, like who will be charged. Seasonal also, every home, if a home has 5 businesses, they each have to pay $25. I don't think we really solidified exactly what it is, so I would prefer to have it removed.
That's kind of where I'm coming from, too. It's not where it's not going to happen necessarily, but we don't have the background of what we want to exactly do yet. And I just think it's more appropriate to wait and bring it forward in December, as you said, or January. President Zabrowski?
I would just rather keep it on, I guess, just because we already said we're doing it, so it doesn't make sense to me to take it off. And I would just say this to me, if you're an accountant or attorney working out of your house, it's no different than someone else having a business that's a brick and mortar. So if a brick and mortar's got to pay $25, the attorney working out of their house has to pay $25, or the accountant. That's just like I said, just my opinion, but I mean, if there's other things to discuss, like, I know one of the things that came up was if someone has LLCs for rental
Right.
properties, like, that I don't necessarily think,
Right.
like, I have all mine
That's
under
where the
one, which
question
isn't
came up.
smart, but there's people I know that have like 40 originals,
Right.
and they literally have LLCs for every original. Now, is that right that they should pay? I don't think so, but,
Well, in the sample ordinances that Melanie found,
Yeah.
I believe it said that those types of LLC entities for rental properties are excluded.
Got it.
So, I mean, we can figure all that out later, and I think we should do it as soon as possible, because this revenue is part of the budget. So I would prefer just to keep the 25 on there, and we can change it later and figure out the parameters of that ordinance. I have another comment. Can
Go
I
ahead.
make that comment? Okay,
In regards to this topic?
not this topic, just another fee.
Well, that is the fee topic.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if we were still on the business license. Manager Hawes, for any residents in the room or watching online, could you,
Thousands.
the thousands of people watching online, could you explain the increase in the recycling fee each quarter by $6 and the reason for that, in case people see that and wonder?
Well, the short answer is, so our recycling fund is funded completely almost completely out of the recycling fees that we collect, the quarterly fees. And so this is what we need in order to get closer to balancing that fund. The fund is in a deficit. It's in a pretty sizable deficit right now. We're working on ways to try to get it more, get recycling more efficient, but the reality is that we need to increase the fee in order to get closer to breaking even on the recycling fee. So that's the short answer of it, is just and we don't make a lot of money off of recyclables. I don't know if the director would like to talk about what our revenues are like on recycling revenues that we make, but it's definitely not enough to make a big chunk.
So, yeah, we looked at comparables to our recycling fee is on the lower end. This brings us more comparable to surrounding municipalities, and like Manager Hawes says, it offsets that debt that we currently have in the recycling fund. So by no means are we above any of our surrounding municipalities. We're still in line, but right now where we sit, we're on the lower end.
And could you just note the, kind of the status of the environment of the recyclables, the income that we get from our recyclables?
Sure. Yeah. So originally, when we first got into recycling, we had what was called a zero floor. So our recycling that went to the recycling center, we paid nothing out to it. We only saw profit. If we didn't see profit in that quarter or that statement, we paid nothing. Recycling fees have obviously tanked. They're slowly coming back up, but that processing fee that we had to pay on the new contract supersedes any profit we get. So the profits we see, I'll use round numbers. We see $10,000 in recyclables. We pay $5,000 in profit, processing fees. So we end up paying out every month instead of generating any revenue. So that's kind of how it shook out. But originally, when we got into recycling, we did not have a fee at all. That's kind of where it sat lower, and we had it in a general fund instead of having it in its own fund. So we switched that over to actually pay for itself. So the resident pays for the recycling itself.
Trustee Feckmeyer, saw your hand up.
Yeah, one other, if you had a question on, it was for the special event permit late fee. I thought we discussed that the fee for the permit is $25, and then we were just going to double that if they were late. And this says $50 in addition to the regular permit fee.
Yeah, so the current permit fee is $50, and a late fee would be $50, so it would double.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 25.
Trustee Olet?
What was the peddler's fee before?
$100.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yes.
I had someone come to the door,
Yeah,
and
so
I told him it's going up, and he's like, you didn't even know we had a license.
I actually should have called. There's people in the D section right now doing it.
Yeah, and like we discussed the workshop, we're gonna put a blurb in the next Village Views, try to build some more awareness around our peddler's license, to ask to see it or ask if they have it.
That's what
and
I did.
Report it and that type of thing.
I'm just gonna copy this sheet and give it to him.
Not bad idea.
Yeah, as long as Trustee Olet brought up, I did have since our last meeting, I've had two
Yeah.
peddlers, or whatever you want to call them, one for insects or mice going into the house, another one for tree removal. So, I mean, they do come around.
Yeah, home improvement is what I had.
Other questions in regard to the fee schedule?
So as the motion currently stands, to approve it as it's presented,
No,
right?
it's
No.
approve it without the business fee.
Okay.
So we have to vote on that first.
Okay.
Could we just make a motion to put the business fee back in?
You could make an amendment, a motion to amend it by putting the business license back in. That'd be interesting.
It says right there.
Don't do that.
No, let's
I wouldn't have had
give
to
Melanie
try.
something to do here.
What's easier for you?
To vote on it the way it
Alright.
is and then to redo the
Okay.
motion. Yes.
Okay. Then I will ask for a roll call on the motion that I presented. Trustee Olet seconded to forward all the fees except that one that we will then discuss in the very near future.
Yep, the business license fee.
Okay.
Trustee Barbian?
Yes.
Trustee Unger?
No.
Trustee Feckmeyer?
No.
Trustee McFall?
No.
Trustee Olet?
Yes.
President Zabrowski?
No. I'll
Okay.
make a motion to put that back in.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that being put back in? Guess no. I'll ask for a roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
No.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Feckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Yes.
Trustee Olet?
No.
President Zabrowski?
Aye.
I was hoping he wouldn't switch and then.
I know.
You were waiting for that, weren't you?
That would have been tied, would have been
Yeah.
interesting. Next item, discuss and necessary action regarding the adoption of the 2026 salary resolution FC 2541. Finance Committee moves to approve this salary resolution.
I'll second it.
I have a second. Any discussion? I see none, so I ask for roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Melanie, before I close the finance committee, when you do the minutes, can you notate why trustee Olet and I were only objecting to that one part of the fee schedule? So it doesn't seem like we're against the whole thing. Thank you. Trustee Zabrowski, finance committee is done for tonight.
Thank you, trustee Barton, appreciate it. Any special committee reports this evening? Oh, no.
Health Department,
All right, trustee Barbian.
where to begin, huh? Just wanted, we had our meeting, and first item that we talked about we decided to continue to keep our meeting every other month instead of every month, because it's difficult to staff to accommodate all that, and we will be meeting on the second Tuesday of every other month from 5 to 6:30. I thought we should go to 7:30, but we're going to go 6:30 in the lower level of the CLC, and we encourage all residents to attend. Very good information is given out, and we do have citizens' comments there. We also talked about MADOC, Milwaukee Area Domestic Animal Control Commission. Clarified some things that people don't necessarily know. MADOC is the public animal control agency that serves all of Milwaukee County's 19 municipalities, everybody, and we're part of it. Their role is to take in stray, abandoned, or seized animals and offer limited adoption and vet services. They also manage dog and cat licenses for the county. Our public health director is the Greendale representative on the board of directors and operations committee. So that's quite an honor for Greendale to have Ashley on that committee. It deals with the whole county. With the staffing decrease of 2026, the Memory Cafe was in serious jeopardy of not continuing, and it's well attended. The health department was able to secure a sponsorship to pay for the Memory Cafe leader and supplies for this year, so it will continue. And again, it is a real good program and encourage a lot of people to attend that. The day will be changed, though, to the fourth Monday of the month from the fourth Wednesday. So it'll be on a Monday instead of a Wednesday. Okay. Let's check the other. That should cover it. Do you have anything for Community Alliance?
No, I don't have Community Alliance, but I have Library and Children's Garden.
Oh, that's on your agenda.
The library once again hosted a meaningful veterans ceremony honoring area veterans. The guest speaker was Chief Petty Officer Brooke Christensen from Great Lakes Naval Base. Members of the Greendale High School Choir sang patriotic songs. 4 distinguished veterans received quilts from the Quilts of Honor organization, and members of American Legion Post 416 and VFW Post 1059519 served as the honor guard. Refreshments were once again donated by a supportive resident. The Children's Garden. Members of the Children's Garden Committee will be at the field workshop during tree lighting on Friday, November 28th, with several free make-and-take projects, along with pumpkin and cranberry orange bread for everyone. And the garden's presentation boards have been updated with tips for winterizing your Midwest garden. So here is the larger presentation board. And then I distributed for everyone an informational flyer, and this small flyer is available in the handy information box at the garden. That's all. And then I have extras if anyone would like a flyer. They're really well done. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee reports?
We had a PCC meeting, so we have 3 events coming up for the holidays. The Sensory Santa on November 29th. You can apply online if you want to sign up your child to do that. We have the Holiday Lights tree lighting ceremony on November 28th from 6 to 8 p.m., but there'll be some food venues here in the street. The street will be closed, and Santa comes, visits, some sing-alongs. It's really a fun event for families. And then the Dickens of a Village on December 5th from 5 to 9 p.m., and that's an annual event, 25-year annual event as well.
All right, awesome, thank you.
Daffodil Park, we had a meeting a couple weeks back, and we kind of went over the survey and discussed on what now our options are and which direction we should start leaning towards. So I'll keep you guys updated on what we come up with. So.
Perfect, thank you. All right, I believe that's everything. No old business this evening. We will move on to new business. I'm going to ask the board if we could please move up G, just so we can get rid of Luke as quick as possible.
No, he's got to stay around for a closed session.
Oh. Well then, oh.
No offense taken.
Yeah, we tried to get rid of him.
I'm trying to save the village money, come on.
Make it sound like he's a recyclable.
Well, then in that case, we'll just leave it. All right, item A, BOT 25116, Downtown Market, presentation and necessary action regarding the special event permit request from the Health Department for the 2026 Downtown Markets. Sorry.
Please state your name.
I just clarify that too, but this is a report.
Yes.
Not as a non-resident.
You're right.
Yeah, we don't know who she is now.
Smarty pants.
Yeah, you could fake it anyway.
Yeah, we know who that.
Okay, just taking a minute to get hooked up here.
This is a tag team event, if you didn't figure that out.
Sorry. Do I even have this plug? Yes, I do.
Sounds good. We think we're ready.
Wait. We're not ready.
Oh, that's the last one.
Don't look. Okay. Open your eyes. All right. Hi, I'm Ashley Haas. I'm the Public Health Director, and this is
Jackie Schweitzer, the Market Coordinator. Returned. We want to thank you for the opportunity to provide the update on the 2025 Garden Greendale Downtown Market. As we are aware, Greendale is steeped in history, and the market adds another component to that history. The next season, 2026, will be the 35th year of the Greendale Farmer Green Downtown Market, however you remember it. The name has changed over time to reflect the addition of different venues to the market atmosphere. The location has changed from the municipal parking lot to Broad Street north of Schoolway, and the recent change to Broad Street south of Schoolway. And the management has changed from members of the Greendale Promotion Committee to the Park and Rec Department, to the Village of Greendale Tourism Department, and most recently to the Greendale Public Health Department. With the location changed to Broad Street in front of the Greendale Gazebo Park and the grass area to the south in the park, and the change from the Tourism Department to the Health Department, in my estimation, what is great is the transition by the village around that occurred by moving it to the Health Department. The Greendale Health Department, despite incurring the loss of a position and decrease in their budget for 2025, embraced becoming the overseer of the market. Health Director Ashley Haas worked tirelessly to support this market gem for the community. Along with all of her support and work on technology, advertising, use of Canva to create wonderful materials, she encouraged her staff's knowledge and work toward the market, especially with the social media component. The village's choice to move the market under her direction was and is a great asset to the community. It was humbling to be contacted by the village in late fall 2024 to consider returning to manage the 2025 market. So thank you for that opportunity, Trustee
one of the
McFall.
reasons I agreed to this.
Thank you for coming back.
You're welcome. The tremendous support of Ms. Haas, DPW Director Rod Damask, Village Manager Mike Hawes, and all the supporting staff of the village made this community service available for 16 Saturdays. And with all the pre-planning that goes into making it happen, made this an awesome experience. The staff, again, of the Health Department worked very hard behind the scenes to support the market with their work on the website, vendor profiles, office support, weekly notices, and just great marketing skills to keep the community engaged week after week. The 2025 Greendale Downtown Market Team included Assistant Market Manager and Food Share Coordinator Courtney Crookshank-Baranowski, Public Health Market Intern Sarah Hewlett, Public Health Director Ashley Haas, Public Health Generalist Teresa Ripple, Public Health Specialist Amanda Marcucci, DPW Director Rod Damask, DPW Foreman Jeff, Nick, and Tyler, and the Village Hall Clerk and Treasurer's staff of Stephanie, Kristen, Brooke, and Melanie. The Health Department is great in collecting data. If you don't know that by now, having worked with them, they're all about the data, and the market was no exception. Having intern Sarah Hewlett, a Greendale resident and a student at UW-Milwaukee, was a great addition to the work of the market. Sarah collected different types of data: attendance, community where visitors resided, thoughts about the variety of vendors, what people liked about the market, what changes, additions they might like to see. She provided a wonderful platform for data collection about the market for evaluation on improvements or what to possibly continue to offer. This is one of the things she found. The Greendale Market operates from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Here's a chart reflecting data around the time of the morning, showing when people were in attendance. She would walk the market, counting people every 30 minutes. And you can see 9:45 to 11:15 was the highest participation of people at the market. This tells us if the market started later and ended later, which some people have suggested, we probably would not pick up more people than we now do, and the majority of the vendors are fine with the 8 a.m. starting time. Ms. Hewlett was very dedicated to this collection of data and only missed one market, but we knew it was important to Sarah's overall report that we would collect it for her to include in her work. The highest attended market was August 2nd, and on that day we did have the VFW sponsorship along with a local graduate and his band playing bluegrass. However, it was also full bounty at the market by this time. July 12th was the next best attended, and that was tied in with the garden walk event. June 28th was the second market of the season, so people were learning it was open, but there were no special programs that day, and entertainment was provided by the Greendale German Band and the Cream City Silver Band volunteers. And the final market on October 4th was also well attended. As you can see, we averaged 549 attendees per market, or about 8,777 visitors for the 16 days of the market. We learned this data was very important to have as when reaching out this year to potential new vendors for the market. That was the first question they would ask. What is the market attendance? So as we begin recruiting for 2026, we have some solid data and not just a guesstimate. This slide reflects the majority of visitors to the market are community members of Greendale. We do know too that most of the entertainment groups would promote their performance at the market, which would draw from outside the Greendale area. There were friends of the various groups who attended from Whitefish Bay to the north and Racine to the south. The average visitor to the market would expect to spend 30 to 45 minutes, with many indicating a stay of 15 to 30 minutes or an hour or so as well. We recognize there can be many variables that influence a person's duration at any market date, but this is good information for us to work from. The average number of vendors per market was 35. There is the potential of 54 spaces on the street. And I believe that's comparable to what you've had when it was on the north side of Schoolway as well. However, 2 are needed as access points from the Gazebo Square parking area, and if using the park grass area, another 2 are needed to provide access from the street to the park. So this leaves 50 available spaces. The farmers and food venues generally need 3 to 5 spaces for their setup, so the market each week was generally filled with our 35 average. Our goal of providing fresh produce, honey, syrup, food, and bakery was met as noticed on the graph. The The market was then sprinkled with artisans, businesses, and nonprofits to fill out a market day. Again, we believe that our vendors are the key to the market experience, and so we did a survey of them in mid-August for this past season. 72 vendors are what we had totally registered for the market. So they were all surveyed with 32 responding for a 44% rate of return. 72 of the respondents were vendors in previous years, and 85% indicated they would be interested in returning in 2026. It was important to our market planning team to receive this feedback information from the vendors. Their overall satisfaction was encouraging and provided us with their satisfaction level. In detail, again, just the blue highlights, the foot traffic and customer turnout reflects a strong attendance overall. Day and time was the highest rated category, which tells us our scheduling continues to work well for most. The vendor location within the market reflects using the street and grass area for overflow days, and it is effective. The gazebo park location for the market in 2025 overall had the highest satisfaction, which is great reflection of Greendale's appeal as a market setting. Sales satisfaction was slightly lower, but still strong. This indicates most vendors are having successful sales days and lets us know there's still room, though, for growth. Overall, the data shows that vendors are overwhelmingly satisfied across all categories, especially with the timing, location, and general environment of the market.
By mid-market season 2024, the market was able to begin processing food share, EBT, Quest benefits. We felt that this was a good opportunity for food share participants in our community to have additional access to fresh local foods. So our goal for 2025 was to have the program in place and ready to go with the opening day of the season. We hired a market assistant, food share coordinator, who thankfully had some experience with the program. It was a big learning curve for the rest of us to figure out the ins and outs of the program and how to process benefits and reimbursements. This season, we processed $190 in food share transactions to 8 participants. These funds were matched dollar for dollar through a Milwaukee County program, which was a great opportunity to double their purchasing power. While we strongly support the goals of the food share program, the cost of operating it ended up being much more significant than the amounts of benefits that we processed. So because of that, we have decided not to process food share benefits this next season, though vendors are still will be able to accept WIC and Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program vouchers. We remain committed to making the market accessible and welcoming for everyone, and will continue exploring other ways to support affordability and community access in the coming years. The market used many different avenues for marketing in 2025. We utilized the traditional methods such as the LED sign, posting in the Village Views, Village Hall Update, Greendale Schools newsletter, websites, flyers, word of mouth, Jackie's many community connections, and we had a listing in the Farm Fresh Atlas publication, which is an area listing for all of farmers markets. In addition, health department staff supported the market's social media presence. Social media was one method we could track the success of our marketing efforts. Again, you know, the health department, we like data. You can see that from June through October, our Facebook posts reached over 43,000 people with 5,000 content interactions. There were 290,000 views and 465 clicked links. And through all of that, we gained 395 new followers. We're in the thousands for our Downtown Market Facebook page. And then you can see 2 posts up there that were our 2 most popular, most successful posts. That one on the bottom with the photos was the first day of the market. And then the other one was when we had a busy weekend of events in the village.
This season, the market came alive with 12 fantastic musical acts, creating a welcoming space for people to hang out, connect, and enjoy the atmosphere. The new location with access to the gazebo was perfect. We were thrilled to host 4 sponsor booths, giving our supporters an opportunity to engage directly with the community and they truly brought their A game. In addition, 3 feature booths were hosted by 2 key organizations, one of which joined us twice, bringing interactive activities that enrich the market experience. No, we were good. We also added a health fair, Fresh and Fit Fest, in tandem with the market, which was a great addition to expand the market's impact and maximize attendance. Visitors clearly enjoyed spending Saturday mornings with neighbors, family, and friends. We are now working with DPW to explore options for additional seating in Gazebo Park to make the market even more inviting next year. In 2025. It's okay. We're good. In 2025, a market sponsorship program was created to enhance the market by bringing in funding source and support outside of the usual tax levy tourism funding. 4 categories of sponsorship were created at different levels of giving. We had no one at our community champion level. We had 2 neighborhood partners, 3 local supporters, and 8 friends of the market for a total of $2,400. It was and still is our belief that sponsorships help ensure our market continues to thrive as a hub for fresh produce, local artisans, and family and friend activities. It boosts visibility, makes an impact, and shows community pride.
At a recent meeting, you received the market financials that were shared with you. This slide further highlights those details. So our total expenses are about $24,000, and we had about $12,000 in revenue coming in, with a net cost of $12,000 for the 2025 year. This financial cost included expenses for salary, entertainment, and some general expenses. Some of those expenses were items that can be reused in 2026, but were necessary due to branding and location change. And then our revenues were sponsorships, donations, and vendors. We also feel that it's very important to recognize our tremendous volunteers who contributed over 250 hours throughout the season. If you think about that, if they're paid $20 an hour, that would be valued at over $5,000 of donated time. Their contribution helped make the market happen each week, and we think it helps ensure its sustainability in the future.
We're almost done. So our considerations for 2026, our planning is already beginning with the following items being considered. There would be no market on July 4th, as that is on a Saturday. Discontinue the market cell phone and participation in the food share program. Add benches in Gazebo Park for seating and upgrades to the site, the restoration of grass, picnic tables, and the future restroom. Create policies and procedures for market operations, refine the vendor application process and selection of vendors for more variety, encourage outdoor sales by Grand Haven tenants, downtown businesses, and encourage more volunteerism at the market. Continue music at all markets except for the community special events, along with activities, special events, or features each week to provide enhanced and engaging opportunities. Continue to monitor and evaluate parking, attendance, and sales. Looking forward to the permanent restroom facility. Continue to coordinate with special community events occurring on the same date, nonprofits and businesses. And as proposed, the dates for 2026 being proposed are June 20th to October 3rd, 2026, again with no market on Saturday, July 4th. In closing, once again, thank you for allowing us to share with you the highlights of the 2025 Greendale Downtown Market. We are looking forward to enhancing the market experience for the community in 2026 with planning already beginning. As you know, you've got the special event application process already submitted. Again, please continue to support the health department as the overseer of the market, as they have contributed so much time and energy to bring it to the community and make it a fabulous Saturday morning destination. So eat fresh, shop local, and support community. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, guys.
Very good.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
And then just to be efficient here, we can go right to the staff report. We're requesting approval for the Greendale Downtown Market to be held Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon, June 20th through October 3rd. with a street-only, well, with the exception of July 4th, and a street-only market on July 11th for the Garden Walk, as well as approval for downtown businesses to display and sell merchandise outside their stores during market hours if they should choose to do so.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Trustee Unger?
I just have a couple comments on your presentation and, overall, the market this year. I thought the Facebook post that featured a vendor every week was excellent. It was a really great idea. I'm glad you're discussing additional seating at Gazebo Park, especially when there's performers there. There were times where I felt our backs were turned to them, and so I think if there's a way to add seating, bleachers or something, that would be great. I would suggest maybe keeping the information booth in the same spot if you can. I noticed it moving around quite a bit, so if people are looking for it, it might be best to keep it in the same spot if that's feasible. So there's no interest in starting a little later. I know people had said in the past 9 to 1, do it over the lunch hour. So is that a DPW reason for keeping it at 8 and 8 o'clock start time?
I believe that came from our vendors.
Oh, the vendors are good with the 8
They are
o'clock?
comfortable with the 8.
Okay.
Even though we have a couple coming from Germantown, they get an early start, but they prefer the 8 to 1. And then we also did, actually Sarah, in her, in her survey of the attendees on the street, again, they were more about the 8 to noon.
Okay. That was another one of my questions. So you collected data from visitors and you had 28 respondents. Were those people on the street? Why were there only 28 respondents from visitors?
So that was Sarah's, she did what she called an intercept survey, so she would try to stop people and then ask them questions. Her plan with that was to do it once a month. I don't think she got as many as she would like, because yes, out of 8,700 people, 28
Okay.
doesn't seem like a lot, but it's more data than we had in previous years. So it's a start. We definitely know that we can work towards getting more.
And one last question. Did any of the businesses on Broad Street have complaints about parking in front of their businesses? Has that been resolved? Did you hear anything? Any complaints?
We didn't get any complaints. I know Jackie went to a few businesses and she talked with some of the business owners, as well as the post office and Sugar and Flour, and you didn't hear anything that was too negative.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the trustees that came every week. We loved seeing your faces there.
I had one question. How much was the EBT that you're stopping that? What was the actual cost? You said it was too much.
Okay, you knew that they were going to ask that. So the total pay, which is the processing software that we needed, that was $20 a month. So that's $100 because we needed it for the full month of October to capture that one day and the full month of June. Then our market assistant, she was hired specifically for food share. So she had 139 total hours. Even if you divided that in half, because she was there like every weekend, we need somebody there just in case you needed to process that. We're looking over $1,000 to $2,000. And then every week, between Stephanie and her finance department and myself, just the administration of putting that reporting in and then processing reimbursements. If that was 1 hour of shared time between us, you're still looking at $1,000. So my guesstimate is between $2,500 and $3,500 dedicated to trying to run that food share program.
Wow.
So we would have liked to see more participation, but we have ideas of why maybe it wasn't utilized as much, but nothing, that's just our thoughts and perceptions.
Okay.
So.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
again.
Thanks.
All right, any other discussion?
I would just note, so, and Jackie's been kind of keeping tabs, there's been a lot of stuff in the area regionally, some communities possibly changing their markets, adding markets, those types of things. I know Franklin was really looking at it and considering it. They decided not to have a market. Obviously, there'd be potential competition with our vendors and visitors and that type of thing. I think the cost and getting that off the ground was a lot for Franklin, and so that speaks to our team and the great job they do to execute this market. And I mean, I think obviously a lot of communities have the markets. Ours is unique. We call it kind of the boutique or a niche market. And so just want to say kudos to our team here and Jackie and Ashley for doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Pachmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye, thank you. Item B, BOT 25117, discussion necessary action for a special event permit request from the Public Celebrations Committee for the tree lighting event on November 28th, 2025.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
All right, the Greendale PCC has submitted a special event application for the village's annual tree lighting. The event is scheduled to take place on Friday, November 28th at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Greendale Village Hall. Food and beverage vendors include Sweet Delight Popcorn, Gift of Wings, Broad Street Coffee, Joey Gerard's, and Chick-fil-A. They'll be located, as usual, on Northway and Broad Street, offering items for purchase. We'll also have the Flip the Switch contestant that will be picked to officially illuminate the lights and start the arrival of Santa Claus. The village manager, police chief, and myself reviewed the application with no conditions. Staff time is estimated at $2,639.91.
I'll move to approve the special event application for tree lighting on November 28th, 2025, and to declare it a public celebration day.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Yes.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Pachmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye.
Kind of far along.
Thank you. Item CBOT 25118, discussion necessary action for a special event permit request from the Public Celebrations Committee for the Sensory Santa event on November 29th, 2025.
Okay, the PCC has submitted a special event application for sensory-friendly Santa visit. The event is scheduled Saturday, November 29th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Greendale Safety Center, which will be in the upper level of the Greendale Fire Department Training Room. Attendees will be required to register in advance for an opportunity to meet with Santa, ensuring a calm and comfortable atmosphere to maintain an environment. No more than 25 individuals will be permitted in the space at one time. Event offers an opportunity for children with special needs to meet a specially trained Santa in a low-sensory, less crowded setting designed to accommodate their needs. The Eleanor Room will also be donating holiday cookies for attendees. The village manager, myself, and police chief had reviewed the application along with the PCC and have no conditions. Rachel herself does all the planning, so there is no fiscal implications.
I move to approve the special event application for sensory-friendly visits in Santa on November 29th, 2025, as presented, except I think Christmas cookies, not Halloween cookies, right?
Did I put they say Halloween cookies?
Oh, holiday.
Holiday.
Oh,
Did I say Halloween?
Leftovers.
They're still,
Halloween.
they're still good.
Yeah.
I'll second.
I'll second. Yeah.
Discussion, roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Pachmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye, thank you. Item D, BOT 25119, discussion necessary action for special event permit requests for Green and Clean Day on May 16th, 2026.
All right, so we had submitted an application for the 2026 Green and Clean Day event. This will be held at Daffodil Park on Saturday, May 16th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Attendees will have the opportunity to help clean up Daffodil Park area, create their own flower hanging basket, receive information from the Greendale Health Department about the importance of spending time outdoors, and tips in staying healthy. The Department of Public Works will also be planting a tree in recognition of the Greendale's Tree City USA status, and additionally, the event serves as a kickoff for the Greendale Children's Garden. The village manager, police chief, and myself, along with the PCC, reviewed the application with no conditions. Staff time is estimated around $1,300.
Great event. I move to approve the special event application for Green and Clean Day on May 16th, 2026, as presented.
Second the motion?
Any discussion?
Nope.
All right, roll call.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zaborowski?
Aye, thank you. Item ABOT 25120, discussion and necessary action regarding a special event permit request from the Greendale Park and Recreation for residential paper shredding event on September 19th, 2026.
Okay, Park and Rec has submitted their application for their annual 2026 free residential paper shredding event. The event will take place in the Greendale Municipal Lot on Saturday, September 19th, 2026, from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Greendale residents will have the ability to safely discard up to 2 Bankers boxes of paper materials for secure shredding at no cost. I did have a chance to talk to Ryan today. One of the questions at the PCC meeting was if they were going to do a spring one. The answer to that is no, they're just going to do one next year just because they haven't been seeing the attendance and the cost has gone up. So this will be the only shredding event for 2026. But the village manager, police chief, and myself have reviewed the application along with the PCC and no conditions. Staff time is estimated at $97.78.
Great. I move to approve the special event application for the Park and Recreation Residential Paper Shredding Event on September 19th, 2026, as presented.
Second the motion?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zaborowski?
Aye, thank you. Item FBOT 25121, discussion necessary action regarding extension of premise application from Joey Gerards during the tree lighting and Dickens of a Village event.
Really want me to explain it, or Colleen, if you have anything you want to add? It's just that, they're just gonna extend their premises to, the sidewalk, like, by their front door.
I think they did that
Like they
last
always
year,
do,
right?
yep, right outside their front door.
Yeah, okay. I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second that.
All right, any other discussion?
So they're only going to the front, what about,
They go right to the left of George Roar's, right to the left. They always put up a
Okay.
tent.
like last year?
Yes.
All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zaborowski?
Aye, thank you. Item GBOT 25122, discussion necessary action on an ordinance to amend Chapter 28 of the Municipal Code regarding sex offender residency restrictions.
All right, I'm up. Okay, so as you guys probably know, this is an always evolving portion of the law. Our firm keeps an eye on, all the major cases that come out, not just statewide, but federally too. So there was a case in Illinois, which is the Seventh Circuit, which is our circuit, called Nelson versus Town of Paris that came out recently. The reason I keep tabs on federal cases specifically is because that's where most of these challenges come from. These are civil rights lawsuits that are brought, a lot of times they're brought in federal court because there's no cap restriction and they can get attorney's fees, and so the financial penalties are much more severe. The important part of it, so basically this case involved a couple of different restrictions. The main restriction was there was a 6,500 foot buffer between any of their safety zones and where sex offenders can live. That portion was upheld. Now, that doesn't mean we can implement a 6,500 foot restriction. The reason that was so large and it was upheld is because the town of Paris in Illinois is very rural. We're not rural, we've got a lot of residents in a smaller area and we have a lot of parks. And if we implemented 6,500 feet, that would essentially be a ban, and that's, not allowed. The other thing that they implemented was a 6,500 foot restriction between two sex offenders living in the community. That was struck down. They said that was too restrictive, and they didn't provide a reasonable purpose or a rational purpose for that restriction. And then I guess the other thing that's important is they upheld the definition of their prohibited location. So one of the things that we did with this new draft is we expanded the definitions of our safety zones from, originally it was just a school for children, a public park, a park facility, a park pathway, and a daycare center. We had essentially 3 different categories. We have expanded that to 11 different categories, which won't necessarily change our map. I think our map will stay remotely the same. But I think it's, since those particular places were upheld in this decision, I think it's reasonable to expand our definition to include these different places. And I think it kind of future-proofs our ordinance down the line in case, the village changes or we had more of these types of facilities. The second thing that we did, we changed a couple definitions. We changed the definition of residence, and we changed the definition of safety zone. As I said, we just expanded the safety zone to include more of these types of facilities. The change in residence is somewhat significant. So previously, we had 2 distinctions. We had a permanent residence and a temporary residence. That is somewhat common in Wisconsin. I've seen it in a number of our other communities. Basically, it defines temporary residence as any place where someone resides for less than 14 days in a year, or I should say 14 or less days in a year, or 4 or less days in a month. The issue with that, in my opinion, is that it allows for a sex offender to stay in what would otherwise be a prohibited location for 14 days a year. The other issue with that, and I've been talking in depth with Mike and Chief Rosenbaum about this, it's very hard to police that. Outside of having, some sort of surveillance on the person constantly, how would you know how many days, unless they self-report it, how would you know how many days they're actually staying there per month or per year? So we find that to be somewhat hard to enforce. I think this new case in Illinois allows us to amend our residence restrictions and kind of fortify it a little bit. And basically, what that means, so that we changed the definition to a voluntary concurrence of physical presence and intent to remain in a place of fixed habitation. And additionally, we consider physical presence as prima facie evidence of intent to remain. Now, that can be rebutted by the sex offender, but just by being there, we're assuming that you're intending to remain there, and therefore you're treating it as your residence. Because where you get into issues is someone, registers with the Department of Corrections somewhere else outside of the village, but really they're living inside the village somewhere with family or friends or what have you. That's hard. Obviously, if they're registered in the village in a prohibited location, that's easy for us to prove, and we can proceed with enforcing that. It's these kind of loopholes that we're trying to close. And so our proposal for that is to add overnight stay restrictions. So if you look at Section 3 of our draft ordinance here, basically we're prohibiting a sex offender to reside in any of these prohibited locations overnight. The times we used are 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. You guys can determine if that's reasonable, if you want to amend or change that time window. It also prohibits anyone from allowing a sex offender to reside overnight in their premises during those times.
I do have a question. What
Yeah.
happens about the 4 days a month, though?
That goes away.
And that's legal to do that?
Yeah, there's nothing that requires us to allow someone to stay for a certain number of days overnight in the village if they're in a prohibited location. That's a common definition of residence used throughout the state, but I did a deep dive on this, and there's nothing that requires us to do that. So I think this is, nothing's gonna be perfect. We're never gonna be able to 100% enforce everything. It's just something we gotta live with. The state statutes and our courts put guardrails on what we are and are not allowed to do. But as long, and I guess I'll use some of the language from that case, as long as it's not punitive, it's not retroactive, and it's based on a rational reason, basically anything that has not been prohibited previously is allowed, in my opinion. Now, what I will caution is that this, the overnight stay restriction, this you want to call it a curfew or what have you, has not been vetted through the courts. There has not been a challenge to something like this yet. So I can't say for sure that if this was challenged, it would be upheld. It is common to have curfew restrictions for specific days of the year, be, like Halloween or something like that, where it's common to have kids walking around the neighborhood. Those are common. This is obviously an extension of that, where we're not allowing overnight restrictions at all. So we present this to you guys to make your determination as to what you think is reasonable, whether you want to take the risk, if you will, that this is or is not enforceable. I'm comfortable based on the Town of Paris case that it would be defensible. But like I said, I can't guarantee that it would be upheld. A court can do, depends on which court it's in, and the court can do many other things. So you guys can decide if we want to revert back to our original ordinance. We can certainly do that. If you want to change any of this stuff, we're certainly welcome to do that. Yeah.
But if there's not a law that states that they can stay 14 days, how can it be illegal? I mean, if it said that there's nothing that says that we have to let them stay for 14 days.
Well,
I don't get that.
What do you mean? How can the
Because,
overnight
like you-
restriction be illegal?
We always thought that 14 days, they could stay there.
Right.
Right? But you're saying that's really not a law, right?
Yeah, there's nothing that says we're required to allow them to, operate under this temporary residence definition.
Right, so I mean.
Were you
how
saying that
could
14
be?
days wasn't for this scenario, it was really for residency scenario, or?
I don't get what it
No,
was then.
It's common for sex offender ordinances to have that.
Okay.
And basically, they were just making the differentiation. They were using it for residents that we could prove, essentially, versus residents that are harder for us to prove. Because someone can say, well, I'm staying here, but I don't live here. And that's kind of the loophole they were trying to use to get around
So they
the
can't stay
residency
there.
restriction. We're saying, no, none of this 4-day buffer or
Good.
allowance.
Mhm.
We're just restricting
Right.
it outright.
Right.
It's in a restricted zone.
That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think our current zone is 1,000 feet. I think that's reasonable. I wouldn't recommend increasing that because right now, there's not a ton of locations. There are locations in the village that you can't live, but there's not a ton of them. I would not recommend, making it 1,500 or more. I would recommend keeping it as 1,000 feet, but just increasing or further defining the safety zone and adding these different facilities to it.
Right.
So if it did get challenged, what court would that end up in?
Well, they could challenge it in circuit court in Milwaukee County. Most likely, they would challenge it in the west or the eastern district federal court, and then that's how we end up in, federal circuit court and what have you. But like I said, the reason people go to federal court is because they can get significantly higher damages. So that's why this case really came onto my radar, is because it's our district, it's a federal district, and so I think it's pretty strong precedent.
Trustee Unger?
Under section 2.
Yeah.
Number 6,
Yes.
how do you define recreational trail? What's an example of that in Greendale?
Let me pull up our definition of recreational trail first.
That's not like a bike path.
Yeah, so our definition is a path that is distinctly set apart from a roadway, street, or sidewalk, designed for activities such as jogging, walking, hiking, bird watching, bicycle riding, roller skating, or other recreation, not involving the use of motorized vehicles, and doesn't fall under the definition of the state definition of a sidewalk.
Could you read the beginning of that again?
Yes, distinctly set apart from a roadway, street, or sidewalk, designed for activities such as jogging, walking, hiking, bird watching, bicycle riding, roller skating, other recreation, not involving use of motorized vehicles.
So we have all those interconnected paths in Greendale.
Yeah,
Um,
located in the parks.
No, they're all through the neighborhoods, little pathways.
Yeah.
That's not considered a recreational trail or a park pathway, right? All those little pathways.
I don't.
Those are considered more like sidewalks, I
A
would.
few of them go through parks, but most of them are in neighborhoods.
Yeah, if they're in neighborhoods, then they probably would not fall under the park pathway or recreational trail
Okay.
definitions.
Because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think if you did include that in the prohibited areas, that would basically, section off the entire village and
Right.
allow for any types of,
Mhm.
which I know a lot of people would like to do, but unfortunately the courts in the state have said you're not allowed to ban them outright. You have to
Right.
allow for a place for them to live.
Mhm.
And I think we're probably as restrictive as we can get,
Mhm.
especially with this new version of the ordinance, but it's up to you guys to determine how you want to proceed.
Thank you, I just wanted that clarified,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Are you guys good with this? Do you want to make recommendations? What are your
I'm
thoughts?
good with it.
Yes. I would move to approve the ordinance amending Chapter 28 of the Village of Greendale Municipal Code regarding sex offender residency restrictions.
I'll second it.
All right, any other discussion?
And you want to keep it at that 10 PM to 6 AM
Yes.
window?
Yes, we can do it longer.
I wish it was longer, but. I wish it was from 8 to 6, but it's fine, it's a start.
You're the decision maker. One of 7.
Can
Do
we?
you have any
Yeah.
concerns with them expanding that?
Can we?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that, what is your opinion on that?
I mean, you can do whatever you want, I suppose. Based on the codes that I've reviewed, state statutes, I tried to find a definition of overnight. There's no real definition. But the windows were generally 10 PM to 6 AM, so that's why I thought that was the most reasonable. The only concern I would have with making it longer is, would that a court determine that is now overly restrictive and not reasonable?
True.
I can't say.
They're gonna look at the whole thing.
Yeah.
Our whole ordinance.
I can't say either way, but I thought 10 PM to 6 AM is probably more defensible than, 8 PM to 6 AM.
All right, roll call, please.
Get it.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Peckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFo?
Absolutely.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
doing
thank
all that
you.
work on that, appreciate it.
Happy to do it.
All right, item HBOT 25123, discussion necessary action regarding the use of village-owned restroom facilities for events.
All right, staff kind of wanted to get ahead of the use of the restroom facilities that will be built in 2026. So the proposed building will include 4 stalls, 2 in the men's side and 2 in the women's side, which we believe will be sufficient for typical day-to-day use by park visitors. Restrooms will be open during park hours through the spring, seasonally, spring through fall. We do expect some events, these restrooms will be sufficient, but we probably need to think about events that are larger, that we should think about requiring some supplemental temporary restrooms for. And so, as we're looking through some type of standards or guidelines, there's not a set guideline, because obviously the needs will depend on the type of events, if there's food or alcohol. But a practical guideline is that 1 stall per 50 attendees at one time is a practical standard. And so with that approach, I guess we're just looking for some feedback on, we would look to we'd look to update our event application to require some type of temporary restrooms for events that have, so it'd be more than 200 people at any one time. Since we are already in the process of reviewing applications for next year, it's something we kind of wanted to get ahead of. We also wanted to address the idea of, the restocking of materials at restrooms. So obviously the larger events, when they have the supplemental, when they have the porta potties, people are probably going to prefer to use the restroom building. And so there's going to be demand on the paper products and things in that building. So our recommendation is that event organizers would be responsible for restocking supplies, keeping the restroom generally clean and presentable throughout the event. And then lastly, some discussion on the restroom trailer. So we will keep the restroom trailer. The plan is to keep the restroom trailer until the new restroom building is in place. And then, according to our budget, we would sell the restroom trailer, use the proceeds to help offset the cost of the new building. So until the new building is open or in place, we will be setting it up on the Fridays before the markets, take it down the following Mondays. We did recently receive request from the Greendale Entertainment Association to use the trailer during the Pet Palooza event on June 6th. And so knowing that this request could set a precedent for other groups, but it is, I guess, fairly unique in that the restrooms could be open in time, may not be open in time. That's up in the air right now. We don't have the exact timing of when the restroom building will be open. We're certainly aiming for it to be completed in the spring. So we do want the board's feedback on whether the trailer should be made available for that event on June 6th, which has not come forward yet for the special event permit, but looking for that direction on that. So again, looking for the board's overall direction on these topics.
Trustee Unger.
So is the thought that event organizers will be given a key to the storage room of the permanent facility to do the restocking? How are they what's the plan?
I guess we really haven't ironed out that detail yet. I think my thought process on it is giving them the option to bring in their own supplies to restock it when they have larger events. And, supply paper towel and toilet paper and those kinds of things. Obviously, we'll have things in the storage unit. Otherwise, is there a fee associated with larger events and we restock it, similar to like how we rent out the pavilion for the community center? They're paying a fee to use the pavilion. They don't pay for the restrooms, but they pay for the kitchen portion that we redid this year. Is it something similar we want to look at? Manager Hawes and I talked about this, and it's a good problem to have. A lot of the events that take place in Gazebo Park and they use the porta potties are generally not ADA compliant, so this is going to be a nice addition to the park itself, not only for just regular day-to-day events, the garden market, but the larger events where it's going to have a changing station. It's going to be fully ADA compliant. But just looking at what materials are going to be used there should be some sort of compensation for those larger events to either pay something or restock it themselves.
By the organizations like the Lions or whomever, they would help pay for the paper towel, the toilet paper.
Correct.
Your thought.
So something like that Manager Hawes had written, if that event estimated attendance exceeds that 200 plus, there should be something that triggers them, either in the event application or an additional fee that says, hey, this is going to be the additional cost for using that. Because much like the restroom trailer, when it was out for larger events, people choose that over porta potties. So I have a feeling that this is going to get utilized quite often, even though it's there for people using Daffodil Park, the garden market. People are going to use it for the larger events, and we're going to see a cost increase in materials for that.
Trustee Barbian.
To what your question I think you're asking is, for Pet Palooza, I think since GA has taken that over from the village and assumed a large financial expense to that, we have the trailer's not going to be sold by then, or very unlikely. So I feel we should let them use it. and should provide it. It helps them defray their costs, and they're taking on a well-attended event that has become very popular in Greendale, and helps them survive it, and we still have the trailer at that particular time. And so I would like to help them out.
Can I ask what you did last year for Pepalooza? Because you took it over last
We had
year.
a lot of complaints because we did not get porta potties. I thought they could use the library and the welcome center. And we had a lot of complaints from the shops and from the patrons that there wasn't enough bathrooms.
Okay. Because you didn't do.
We did not
And you-
rent any.
And there
Didn't have
was no.
money. I mean,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
because it's like $300 per porta potty.
Okay.
Trustee Feckmeyer.
Well, I agree with Ron, too. We're not really setting a precedent because it's all going to change. But I think we should let them use it for that event.
And this would
It's-
only be if the toilets aren't open.
No, they're not
Right.
gonna be
Yeah.
by that time.
And it's a problem if the porta potties are expensive and it's just a one-day event. It's really hard to make any kind of money or break even, especially if you have bad weather. But the other thing is with the bigger events and the new facility, that's at least 4 less porta potties they have to rent because there's 4 stalls and probably more because people will wait for that one rather than go to the porta potty. So over time, there'll probably be up to 6 porta potties less. So it's less expense for them to just buy the needs, the toilet paper and the paper towel. They're still way ahead.
Trustee McFall.
See, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid these bathrooms are gonna get trashed on huge events. I'd rather see them close them for these huge events, because some of these groups are gonna just say, just what Colleen said, well, we don't have to order as many porta potties this event because now we have a bathroom down there. That's my only fear, is that those bathrooms are gonna get trashed for big events. Small events, I'm good with it.
Trustee Olet.
I do feel that was a big reason why the Lions donated $5,000 for that, the bathrooms too, to be able to use it. So, I mean, I don't think that'd be fair. All of a sudden, they couldn't use it.
That's true.
I mean,
Okay, that's
no,
true.
and that's the
I didn't
whole
know
point.
that.
Yeah.
I never thought of that, so.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be a learning curve to all this. We're going to try to put the best approach forward that we can, and we're probably going to learn some things and then have to tweak it. So maybe, to Trustee McFall's point, maybe there is an event or two that will just be too big to handle an event like this. So we'll just have to
see.
I guess, see how it
I
goes.
think time will tell.
But to start, I mean, I think we have to account for, there needs to be additional restrooms, supplemental restrooms for large events. And we need to have some procedure in place for just the upkeep of the restocking and the cleaning. So that's what we could start with. And if it's just, 1 or 2 events are just too big for that building, then if we have to, we have to look at that then.
Yeah. Very good. No,
Because isn't that what happened with the restroom trailer? I mean, with the biggest events, it got to be too overwhelming.
We didn't use
Correct?
them, right. Yeah, right. We didn't use them.
Okay. This is just for discussion, correct?
It's for discussion, but I guess I'd like to make sure that, we're all on the same page as far as the direction on the Pet Palooza event. That for that specific scenario, if the building is not up yet, that the board's in agreement that we would make that available to them at no cost to the GEA.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
Trustee Unger.
What is the projected date for completion of the building? Do you have any idea?
We just talked about it today. We haven't outlined exactly what day or what month we want it completed. We're just putting together the 2026 project right now, so we're hoping before 4th of July.
Okay.
when you say completed, does that mean sidewalk, everything done?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Anybody else? Where you at with Palooza?
No, that's only right.
Great, thanks.
That works. Awesome. All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys. Item I, BOT 25124, discussion and necessary action regarding amendment number 5 to the intergovernmental agreement with Milwaukee County for emergency medical services.
Hello, this is in regard to the contract that we have with Milwaukee County and OEM for our paramedic service. We had a contract in place for 5 years. That contract now is up as of December 31st of 2025. So they have a tentative agreement, just to give you a quick brief outline, that's that every year the 2.5 million piece of the pie from Milwaukee County that gets dispersed for all the paramedic services in Milwaukee County. So this is what tentative agreement for the EMS contract. They have one in place for 2026 through 2031 with an option of 5 one-year contract extensions. Maybe Jason can speak to this, but once the final document is complete, it needs to be approved from Milwaukee County's ICC prior to going to each municipality. This past Monday, a request was made to the ICC to provide a name of an attorney to approve the new contract. Instead of each community having 14 attorneys, they want to have one attorney represent all 14 communities. Once that final document and the name of the attorney is approved, that document will be sent to the committee for review. But they don't feel the ICC won't get to this at least till January, if not a little bit later. Therefore, we will be without a contract with Milwaukee County for our EMS program for medical direction, funding, and training. There are a few communities that have a contract in place through 2027 that did the opium settlement money. We are not one of those. We are in the same boat with Cudahy, Hills Corners, North Shore, St. Francis, and Wauwatosa. And what we're asking for tonight is their solution is to enter with a 4-month contract extension, and that's what we're asking for approval tonight, which nothing's changing, and it's just to make sure we continue to have our medical direction, funding, and training through Milwaukee County for the next 4 months until the new contract is actually in place. Then I'll bring that back to the committee to let you know how much of that piece of the pie we're getting next year.
All right. Trustee Barbian?
I'd like to make a motion for the board to approve the amendment number 5 to the intergovernmental agreement with the amount of Milwaukee County regarding emergency medical services as presented by the chief.
Second the motion?
Any other discussion?
No.
Gotta do it.
Roll call.
thing.
Good thing.
Good.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Affirmative.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Pepler?
Aye.
Trustee Newsom?
Yes.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any officer reports this evening?
Absolutely, yes.
I was just going to report, so as Director Damask mentioned, the village engineer is working on the plans for next year's road program, so that's Southway and Ramsey. And so we are asking, he's going to come to our meeting on December 2nd and present that information. It's a pretty substantial project. There's a lot of timelines that have to be sorted out. I'll just leave it at that, but we did have representatives from school district, Park and Rec meet today. We went over some of those timelines, potential bus impacts, those types of things. I think he's got a really good plan in place, so he's going to present that on December 2nd, and we're going to get information out to the community, both in our newsletter and other various ways to get the information out ahead of the time about some of the expectations, about some of the closures and timelines related to that project. So it's going to be a big deal that we want to get ahead of.
Sounds good, yeah. Trustee Unger?
I have a quick question on the Health Department report. Is the next Livable Communities meeting really not until February 10th?
Yes.
February 10th?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So we may meet, if needed before then, so we talked about 90-day action teams, so if a smaller section of the Livable Communities Coalition needs to meet to work on an event or a project, then we will schedule that, but the big group meeting will be quarterly.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Could I just ask you too, Ashley, you're going to every other month, the second Tuesday, and when does that start, so we can kind of mark our calendars for that? When was,
We've already been
They have
every
been,
other month, since May of this year, yes, so
So-
May, and then we reevaluated this month, and we're gonna continue every other month. So we just had one in November.
November.
Our next one will be January.
okay.
All right. Moving on to citizens' comments, persons wishing to address the board are asked to state their name and address of legal residency for the record and limit their comments to only one time. Limit their comments to 3 minutes or 5 minutes if representing a group of persons. Citizens' comments shall be limited to a period not to exceed 15 minutes. Public comments shall be addressed to the village board as a body. Any questions or comments directed to any individual trustee or staff person will be deemed out of order. Please note the village board can only discuss matters listed on the agenda. We are open.
We can discuss,
Was that?
we can discuss item G in your new business.
So we don't discuss anything. I don't know what, it's in there, but
You can answer questions.
no.
But you can make a citizen comment.
Correct. Yeah, so if you
Make a
want to just come
citizen
up here, state your name and address, and then whatever you,
I can make a statement. and
Correct.
That's it.
correct.
Tom Newman, 7069 Darnell Lane. I guess I just want to comment that last year's events surrounding the sex offender cost my family, Brandon, Dylan, Julie, and me, just north of $300,000. About 50% of that was attorney fees. We're happy to see some progress was made on the sex offender ordinance, and we're hopeful that we'll never have to see something like that again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg Sylvester, representing the Greendale Historical Society. Tomorrow at the Welcome Center on Wednesday, November 19th, we will have a class on accessing digital photos that are now in the Historical Society's cloud, web, whatever you want to call it. It goes from 2 to 3 p.m. It's recommended to bring either a laptop or a tablet to the class. Greg Sylvester, representing 5902 Broad Street. Just a couple of things. When new businesses come into the village here and so forth, and we have these events like the tree lighting coming up in Dickens, does anybody ever go out and talk to them and so they know what's going to happen? Because there are some new vendor or new businesses, and they have no idea what the Dickens will be or what the tree lighting will be and what's all entailed. You know, they'll just find themselves mobbed in the stores. All of a sudden, what's going on here? So is there anybody that talks to these people and lets them know? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Anybody else?
Nobody talked to this store owner yet, so. That makes sense.
All right, anybody else? I see none, so I will close it. Closed session, the board shall convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19851E, to deliberate or negotiate the purchasing of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically regarding the property at 6190 West Loomis Road and the Fire Union contract. The board reserves the right to return open session to act on any matters discussed in closed session or to act on any other items listed on the agenda.
Make a motion to go into closed session as outlined by President Sobrowski.
I'll second it.
Discussion, roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Buckner?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Greg, what shop?
Good job.
I'm not going to say.
Well, how are we supposed to contact them?
The Lori, we eat wares.
They get email.